Damien.
Horace Wu. So good to see you in person.
Hey, I think this is end of season 2.
Very exciting. And we were just talking before we started recording. It was 2 years ago at LegalWeek, and here we are at in the middle of LegalWeek 2 years ago, where we said, before even the podcast, we said, hey, we have great conversations. Let's record each other.
Let's share it with the world.
That's right. And it turns out here we are 2 years later, and it seems like 5 or 6 or 10. Time is a circle.
Oh man, well, the last couple of years have just like sped along beyond anyone's expectations.
It's true. The time is accelerating.
And you know, like we've both been at LegalWeek this week.
Yeah.
I haven't had as many conversations as normal. I think partly it's because I'm tired, and partly I think the market is tired.
Yeah.
I walked the floors today, and I didn't see as many AI kind of banners as I did last year. But it's all been integrated. It's all just now folded.
It's the air we breathe. There's a joke that said the fish said to the other fish, hey, how's the water today, boys? And the other one said, what's water?
That's brilliant.
Right? I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
And you can't get away from it. And it seems like there's no end in sight. And as of yesterday, our favorite legal tech GenAI platforms are combined worth $16.5 billion.
Favorite?
Everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite. Heartthrobs. They're on Teen Beat magazine, AI Legal Teen Beat magazine.
Oh, if they were only right.
So what's the number? How many $1 billion?
Well, precisely, I think it's a squiggly line, 16.55 billion.
16.55, but who's counting? Wait, that's unicorn times 11.
Well, that's right. Wait, I'm not sure that's times 11.
But it's remarkable, really.
It's crazy. I scratch my head.
Many are.
Behind closed doors, a lot of people are like, how do you justify that number? What's the TAM? Where does it all come from? Smarter people than me have figured it out, I'm sure.
Have they?
Yeah, well,
maybe everyone's scratching.
They're putting real money behind it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's almost like Polymarket, where people are putting real money. But
real.
Is it real or is it crypto? Like what kind of money is coming back?
Is crypto not real? Is that what it's hilarious?
Are birds real?
So, yeah, the whole market's kind of gone crazy and topsy-turvy. I heard some staggering numbers, and I was sharing this with you earlier today. So earlier today, we caught up. We saw Rob Skoning, who's now, out there creating stuff.
Vibe coding like crazy. He's got different agents going, and we were talking about how we were like a FOMO. Like everything we're doing, we're like, what's my agent doing? Is my agent asking me 3 questions that I should answer to be able to do the next thing? It's wild.
Pretty soon, I think it's going to be like, you go and figure it out. Don't come back until it's done. Yeah. And if it's substandard when it's done, I'm sorry, I'm firing you, I'm getting a new agent.
Maybe, but we'll call that one path. But with me, I like to catch it before it goes too far off the path. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want it to churn for 4 hours and come back and give me crap, right? I'd rather admit at 10, move it in the right way, and then let it keep going, right?
I heard a fantastic story of this startup who ran all these agents on Claude and on GPT. And 2 of the agents just started conversing with each other. And it wasn't monitored. And the end of month bill was $47,000.
They had a really good chat though.
It was a really great chat. So it's going to run away.
Yeah. So Rob Skoning is doing an amazing thing with vibe coding. And I was also, I talked today with a large Fortune company whose name that I'm not going to say, but they said that within their law department, legal operations team, they've already built 56 different agents that they do internally. That's already done in the can. They're doing 50 more currently, and they have 57 more in the pipeline. Wow. So between the 3, that's over about 160 different applications, all the way from rifle shot tiny applications to more broad spectrum applications. So if this is indicative of people all have a build versus buy question, at least this corporate law department is saying, we're going to build as much as we can. And then the real question is, do they need to buy our 2 favorite companies that are worth $11 billion maybe? Or do they just need to build themselves, and what value do those 2 favorite companies have above what that in-house team is doing that they know exactly what they need? because their lawyers are the ones that are doing the vibe coding and solving their lawyer's niche problem in a way that a SaaS company can't solve that lawyer's niche problem.
So I was breaking down the kind of market, the technology stack, if you like, and at the very bottom you've got the data layer, right? Like, whether that's case law, we talk about this all the time, whether it's internal data of your contracts, and then you've got your intelligence layer, the LLM, and no one's competing on that. That's Claude, that is GPT, right?
No one will compete on that.
It's going to be super hard to catch up with those guys now. Nobody has the billions.
Yeah.
And then you've got the UI UX layer, which is kind of where everybody's focusing their energies and competing.
Yeah.
And essentially, like if you look at our favorite platforms plus all the other tools out there, they're all competing on the UI UX layer.
Yeah.
There are very, very few who are really competing on the data layer. You've got Clio, who's got VLEX. You've got Thomson Reuters, you've got LexisNexis, you've got Wolters Kluwer. Okay, great. And then those are the kind of litigation side, right, for the case law. And on the transactional side, you've got Deep Judge, you've got DraftWise, you've got probably Centauri, and then you've got us at Cynthia.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else.
Yeah.
And by the way, like on the transactional side, we're nowhere near as mature as the litigation.
So there's just not as much data.
Who's sharing?
Right. And then there are a billion legal documents on the litigation side, and a billion is hard to come by on the contract side.
If only.
Right. And with the number of companies, I just read or heard on a Monday, I was at a thing at Cleary. Monday, so they said Legal Tech Hub, the number of legal technology companies is now over 1,000.
I thought it was 4,000.
4,000 legal tech companies?
I mean,
Nikki can tell us, but yeah.
Nikki, please tell us what number it is.
Right, but still, either whether 1,000 or 4,000, which would be remarkable. Like that is, I thought it was just a few months ago, it was 750 or something. So we're just, as the technology rocket ships up, we're just rocket shipping up with the number of technology legal tech companies.
Yeah. Well, I was meeting with a friend or new friend who's starting his own legal tech company, does litigation stuff, basically turns messy litigation process into one structured process that can be kind of uniformly applied to all litigation, and therefore you can standardize the data, right? So I was like, I've never heard this.
Right, standardized like Sally, standardized polio?
I asked the same question. I asked the exact same question. I'll send you his details afterwards.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's not about tagging. Tagging is like one aspect of it. It's more like mapping to a process, mapping to, this is kind of like overarching steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. And there's 1A1, 1A2, 1A3. And you can kind of like map it down along this process. And that's what he was doing. And I thought it was a really neat idea. But that sort of company, which I thought was like super duper narrow niche, and exists.
What you just described, there's a patent where I'm an inventor for Thomson Reuters that describes that very same thing.
I think this company should know about that.
They might want to know about that. And because the patent, and I'm not speaking out of school, but the patent is you take any litigation or transactional matter, break it up into 1,000 parts, and then of course that 1,000 parts has a subpart, has a sub-subpart, have a sub-sub-subpart, and just map that all out, and then be able to say, this is the way you do this task, this is the person down the hall that has done this task, here are the queries that you in your legal database to do those things. That is all in a patent filed in 2015 with...
So still valid, because it's 20 years, right?
So there's a real question as to how many of these things, right? These are difficult times to be able to think about. Well, the real question is that patent valid, or is it obvious? Because how many years before 2015 have we been doing process mapping?
Right.
And how many times before 2015 did you apply that to a computer process?
Yep.
And so I would say that the thing that I'm the inventor on, there's a very good argument that one could very well make that there's
Don't argue against yourself here.
No, there are just maybe hundreds or dozens of prior arts that maybe invalidates that particular patent.
Right. Well, that's up to the patent attorneys to go and fight that.
That really is.
In the meantime, you're the inventor.
Right. And we can say that. But really, the real question is like, the workflow is the thing.
Yep.
And I've been thinking for at least 10 years that you have the task, but then you could have a subtask, and then subtask, and what is a task is really in the eye of the beholder. because you could go all the way down to, the secretary called the courthouse to be able to see if they're open at 6 p.m.
Right. One task is you have to pick up the pen.
Yeah. So it's turtles all the way down.
You haven't heard that phrase for a long time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So anyway, this is kind of like the landscape now. It's just busy.
Yeah.
And like last year we talked about weariness. We talked about how tired everyone is. I think this year it continues to be tiring.
Yeah.
And I think there is now this push towards greater adoption, more training. We'll come back to that in a second.
Yes,
I actually forgot to finish my point from earlier, which was $16.5 billion.
So crazy.
As a combined value for Harvey and Legora. And someone told me that the combined value of Thomson Reuters, LexisNexis, and Wolters Kluwer's legal services and legal content arms combined is $4.5 billion.
4.5 versus 16 point some. And turns out that Thomson Reuters LexisNexis has some content.
And every lawyer in the world is a subscriber.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go, well, hang on a second, how does the math work?
That math ain't mathin'.
There's additional compounding information which we talked about too, right? Which is if you look at the fees charged by a TR, Westlaw, for a subscription per year versus a Harvey per year. For some firms, one of them's 4 to 5 times more than the other. And it's not the one you think. Thomson Reuters is the one that's 4 or 5 times more expensive than Harvey.
Bizarre. But the valuations flip-flop. So weird.
Anyway, smarter people than me.
Well, but okay, so what's the TAM then? That 11 point or 16 point of whatever billion? Well, I guess 11 for one and then 4 and how does it work out?
So Legora is now valued at 5.5.
Yeah.
And Harvey's valued at 11 billion.
Okay, so 11. So, but really between, TRs, whatever that valuation is versus 11, where's that delta? So is that going direct to consumer? I mean, where does that money come from? Between, if you're not selling, have we exhausted the lawyer market?
Well, one argument, and I steal this argument from Brad Blackenstein.
Yeah.
And the argument is it has to be services. They can't be going after the TAM of software. They have to be going after the TAM of all legal services. Right. Which is, I think, 400 billion.
Right. So, and some of that might be eating the lunch of lawyers.
Yep.
But some of that might be tapping into 92% of unmet needs because we lawyers are too expensive.
Yep.
And the question is, do lawyers go down market into that 92%? Or the Harveys and the others go down market?
Oh, well, you're thinking they don't. Okay,
well,
yeah.
Well, I mean, they can go either.
Market,
right?
It's a new market.
Right, that's right. It's exploiting in the best way that market. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I missed out by not investing on day one.
You were asked, I'm sure.
Hello, do you have $5, $10?
Yeah, but I wonder if we've been wringing the efficiencies out of every other area of business, and then the investors are like, "Oh, law's expensive. Let's invest in that." And maybe the math ain't math and doesn't matter to the people saying, no, we'll figure it out in the back end. Let's wring the efficiencies out of it.
Yeah. Kind of like philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Get the market first.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe. So weird.
Who knows? In the meantime, though, I think like the legal market and the legal professions benefit out. When there's a lot of money being poured into any industry, it benefits.
Yeah, it's true. And to what extent do you think? Walking around, of course, the legal tech companies are frothy with excitement and money, but law firms seem a little more edgy. I found. Are you finding that?
I think so. We work the AmLaw 100, AmLaw 200, right? And here's an observation we're making. So there's a small bracket at the top. Let's call it 10 to 20%. Who have bought Harvey, who have bought Latera, but at the same time, they're also buying subscriptions to Claude and OpenAI with the intention that, hey, if the foundation models, if the GPTs, etc., catch up, then we'll switch over.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure this is not a surprise to you, Max or Winston. And if Harvey and Legora manage to keep on staying ahead of the models, then the law firms stay with
Sure.
the GenAI platform.
Right.
That's 20%. And I think they're hedging their bets. They're keeping themselves open. They're training the people, getting the data ready for all that sort of prep stuff, right? Small minority. 80% are buying Harvey and Legora and spending their entire effort rolling it out, ensuring its adoption. And I don't think they have a long-term vision of what they should be doing. Maybe I'm wrong.
Hard to know. I think that anybody has a difficulty seeing the long-term vision of what is going to happen 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the line.
Well, I mean, look at last month, right?
Right.
Claude Cobra came out and everyone just...
Right, and the month before that, OpenClaw, and a few months before that, Opus 4.6, which just turned the world around to be able to say, oh, you don't need to be a coder to be able to just crank out production-ready code.
Yep.
So I think hedging bets seems to be the logical way for a law firm to be able to say, nobody sees 3 months in advance, so let's just buy lots of things and hope that one of these will be able to port our current workflows from system 1 to system 2 to system 3.
Right. I like a $250,000 investment today by a law firm to have an enterprise license to Claude for everybody to use is a really, really small premium to pay for that kind of insurance.
Yeah. And I wonder a lot about GDPR requires data portability, saying that I should be required to be able to take as a consumer from social media site number 1 and be able to port that data into social media site number 2. I wonder a lot about GDPR requiring the same of our 2 favorite companies and others. To what extent would GDPR for our European friends say, hey, I'm the European that wants to be able to port from system 1 of our friends into Claude?
That only benefits the Europeans though, doesn't it?
Well, maybe, unless you have the lowest common denominator. Like a lot of companies will say, well, do it for everybody because we have to do it for the GDPR anyway. But I would guess that maybe they'll make an exception in this case.
There's a lot of money to be made by not making it portable.
Right. And one could imagine maybe it's their demands from consumers to be able to say, no, if we're going to subscribe to you, it has to be portable.
All questions to be answered. But
so
I
much
think
fun.
In the meantime, everyone's just kind of trying to figure it out. I'm hearing, and I haven't shared this with you, so hearsay. Take it with a pinch.
The best kind of say.
So a friend of mine who is a lawyer in Australia, he or she tells me that in one of the major capital cities in Australia, the graduate offers that have gone out this year to lawyers has gone down by a certain percentage. Now, I'm going to ask you to have a guess. What percentage do you think it's gone down by between last year and this year?
So I would say the conservative me wants to say maybe 7 or 8%, but the realistic me is going to say 15%.
90%. 90.
So the graduation apocalypse is happening.
It's happening.
The singularity is here.
It's happening. So, like, let's say a firm sent 50 offers out last year to graduates. 5 went out this year.
So all the law students that are saying, am I going to have jobs? And I'm saying Jevons paradox, maybe I'm totally wrong. Or maybe I was trying to lull them into a lullaby. Like, you just put your kids to sleep, right? You can tell your 2-year-old, oh, you're going to have a job. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, twinkle, twinkle, little star. You have a job when the sun sets tomorrow. Right.
So I just am, one of my wife's friends is graduating from law school. I hope she's not watching right now, but my wife is very worried about my friend's future, and as am I. Because my friends, she spent a significant amount of money, like over $100,000 or maybe $200,000.
Right.
For what? Starbucks?
McDonald's?
No, it's what happens?
Honestly, I have a view that this might be like COVID. When COVID first happened, people didn't have jobs for those 2 years, right? Or, the graduate class for those 2 years really thinned out. And then people recognized, oh crap, now we don't have any third-year lawyers, and they went on a hiring spree.
If they need third-year lawyers instead of their workflows that they've been coding up and flowing.
well, that question is, where do we hit the ceiling for large language models, right? Like at the moment, we still hit ceilings. We see these in more complex workflows. We see these in longer documents. We think there's like 3 factors simultaneously that come into play to determine whether or not we cross the ceilings or exceed the ceilings. One is, can we keep on increasing the context window? So more and more information can go into the model at a time. And I think that will happen every 18 months or Moore's law, right? I'm not sure this is 6 months or 18 months, it doubles.
Increase the context window or do more context engineering to fit more into that.
Right, compression. So either way, more data into the window, therefore you can handle more documents, more complex stuff. Second is, can you increase the accuracy, get rid of the whole lost in the middle effect and so on. That's scientifically not as certain as increasing the context window.
Google's trying.
Hasn't happened yet though. And the third is, will it be economically cheap enough to be worth it? Right? Like, would it make sense to throw in 10 documents to go, hey, model, go figure out what's market for me, versus chunking them first, throwing in just the relevant parts and then saying, figure out what's market from these relevant parts.
These are all true. And I guess, I wonder, are we going to, as we've been saying, well, this 200,000 token window and then expanded to 1 million with Google, right? And that was within a year. So we thought, of course, in a few years, we're going to have 2 million tokens and 10 million tokens, and right? But I was just listening to Dario Amodei, who was, I think, on the Dora Kesh podcast, and he was saying that if you, to be able to do that, to go to 2 to 10, et cetera, that is going to increase the duration of your training cycle, because you have to train at 10 million to be able to do inference at 10 million. And who's going to wait to train the 10 million tokens context window? Because then it's going to take so much longer that you're going to fall behind the Groks and the OpenAIs and others. So that's...
You have to do it in parallel. You have to train the shorter models and the longer models.
Right.
I thought the problem was there wasn't enough data that had a contiguous 10 million token.
That too.
Right.
You have of course, Harry Potter and others, but...
Is that 10 million tokens?
Right, yeah.
Like, I mean, you can synthetically create it, but then we all know the problem is just synthetic data. So...
And then these are all pre-training rather than post-training, which is the RL, reinforcement learning. So and have we reached an asymptote?
Maybe we have, but I think you were saying this before, and I agree with this. Like, even if the models start advancing right now, there's still 5 years of development.
For sure. People, process, technology, even if the technology would stop, the people and process are going to need to catch up. Which, as we rocket ship up, I think that we're really going to see the people and process fall farther behind.
I don't know if I agree, because I was looking around the floor today, and I think the people part I can't speak to, but the process part, I think that's what a lot of vendors are now building towards. They're integrating process into their tools and then using the large language model intelligence to drive these steps forward.
Sure. That's well, I guess there's the technological process, but then there's within my law firm, I've always done it this way for the last 25 years. I always give it to Jenny, who then gives it to James, who then does the thing.
Who are now all agents.
Right. Well, but Jenny and James need a job, and are we going to fire Jenny and James?
Wow.
Maybe. Right. Right. But I mean, no. I always put the stamp on the thing, and that's what I do. And boy, if we don't do that, hell freezes over, and then bad things happen. Right. So I think that these kind of human processes, it's hard for the vendor to be able to work those things out.
I agree. Although I think there are some vendors who are trying very hard to capture those human processes into their workflows. So, it's up in the air.
I wonder. I was talking with a large law firm. He's not a lawyer, but he's part of innovation within the law firm. And he said, I said, what are you seeing that's interesting on the floor? He said, there's a company, I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to cast aspersions on this. One of the 4,000 companies out there, what they're doing is doing what I did on a weekend to vibe code to be able to say, upload any text, whether it's litigation or transactional, and put all the tags on there and structure the data. So this non-lawyer innovation person was saying, and it's amazing, then you can have really well-structured data and be able to then use that to fuel the large language models. And then I broke out my laptop and it said, you mean like this thing that I did last weekend
open source.
that I made open source and free? And I said, how is this company that you're so enamored with going to compete with free? Because I put it onto the GitHub, and you can download this today, run it on, it's a Windows app, unplug from the internet, and just do it locally.
Like, you know how they can compete? Services. They'll provide the services at a white glove fee, but people will feel good about it.
And that's exactly what he said.
Oh.
He said, Damien, lawyers aren't nerdy enough to do what you just described. And I said, nerdy enough to go to a website and download an EXE, double click, and then start doing the thing. And he said, well, no, but there's liability there, because if I download it and do it and I muck it up, then I'm responsible. Whereas if I buy this service and they muck it up, I say, no, get it right. And in a sense, that's what you're saying. Like, I get to point the finger at the responsible person who will fix it. And whether you call that a technology or a white glove service, the thing's gonna get done without me having to do the thing.
The liability shifts on.
Yeah, a little bit. But then I said, but okay, let's play this out. I said, so you say to this company, I like it for a lot of things, but it sucks for this, that, and the other thing. But then they say, we're not going to fix this, that, and the other thing, and then you're stuck.
Yep.
Option 2 is to download my thing, and then you say, I like it, but I wish it had this, that, and the other thing, and you literally say to Claude Code, make it have this, that, and the other thing, and because it's open source, all of a sudden you have those 3 features 20 minutes later. So between convincing this vendor to do something and just speaking it into existence, why wouldn't we going this way?
I agree with you that there was a possible future when law firms and internal engineering people will say, you know what, we can just vibe out the solutions. But if human nature plays a role here, a lot of people will just say, you know what, I would rather pay X dollars to have someone else take care of that for me. And then we're going to end up in the same boat.
That's right. There's time value, the value of my time.
Yep.
And the value of my...
even more laziness.
Well, I mean, same idea, right? I mean, there's a bunch of Mercedes down in the hotel,
yes.
right there. So, and they are paying a good number of dollars for laziness. Also, the time value of that assumedly billionaire's value. So they want to spend 5 seconds walking to their Mercedes rather than the 25 seconds to go to the parking garage. Laziness, time value, we can call it either way.
I think when you're a billionaire, it's called time value. When you're not a billionaire, it's called laziness.
That's right. The dollars on each second.
When you're poor like me,
Right,
it's
right.
laziness.
And there's a joke that, not a joke, but there was somebody periodically says, okay, for Bill Gates, is it worth his time to reach down and grab a $100 bill? And that's the same idea.
Yes, and I think someone worked out it's absolutely not. You should just keep walking.
Just keep walking and let somebody else have that $100. Come on, Bill, you have enough money. Don't think it. Let somebody else have it, right?
In this, we're filming this in New York City, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of those few cities where you can probably walk outside and accidentally bump into a billionaire.
That's true. And then he'll punch you in the face.
Wow, his bodyguard.
His bodyguard, really. That's true.
But we are living in a world where money seemingly just means less and less.
So the Moonshots project, Moonshots podcast, have we talked about this?
We have, and I started watching it actually.
It's quite, it's the most optimistic podcast you can think of. And they say, we watch all these dystopian, futurist, the Terminator and all the things, but we should have more utopian view, like there is a good path. And a good path is that we just have goods and services just come down, massive deflation, and $1 will feel like $1,000. And money maybe doesn't matter as much as it does anymore. And when $1 can be essentially our cost of living, universal basic income and universal high income maybe is more palatable because we'll just take all the taxes from the NVIDIAs, the Microsofts, and the Googles, which will be running our economy, and just spread that out, if the government makes that so. That is maybe a scenario where money doesn't mean as much, right?
Oh, I wish there were more of these strings to make me believe that will be it.
That's one path. It's one of the million, and this is the one that works.
It's like that scene from Avengers Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Doctor, what's his name? Strange goes, it's a 1 in 1.6 million whatever chance. Yes, that's the one.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. Hey, who knows?
Maybe.
I do hope that's the future.
I hope so too. I think that would require a government to be able to say, let's redistribute and be able to reap the, I'm not going to say ill-gotten gains, but I would say reap the gains.
Yes. So you're saying there's a government not only is going to be following the rule of law, but also have an ethical sense, and also will want to benefit the society at large.
Yes, a fella can dream, can he?
But I mean, let's turn to more optimistic topics, right? I'm actually really excited about the progress that people are making this.
Yeah.
Because I remember last year we were having this conversation in the park, and I was saying, man, I was not impressed with Harvey and Legora because it's just a wrapper. I think my view is shifting a little bit. I applaud how much hard work those guys have put in.
Yep.
Money can do a lot. And they've now created really mature, really polished products that actually benefit lawyers. I'm very, very impressed. But there's always a but.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, really?
No, but.
I thought there's always a but. But I think a large part of that is because the foundation models have gotten so much better too. And the rising waves, the rising tides argument, right? All the boats are being lifted.
And to use another metaphor, maybe the waters have washed away many sins of poor choices, but then those are just the blessed waters of the AI are taking care of that.
Yes. Mistakes don't matter when it's underwater.
It's Atlantis, but it's beautiful. Maybe, yeah. So the rocket ship of acceleration and capabilities is floating all of our boats.
I think so. And I think depending on what your strategy is and where you're positioned in the market, as long as I think you plan for 6 months or 12 months in advance, who can do it properly, but as long as you try, I think there's space in the market for a lot more than we anticipated.
I hope that's true. Something I've been thinking about is the legal pie going to expand with Jevons paradox or contract?
I think the people who get help, the amount of legal services being provided, that will expand.
Yep.
I'm not sure the money available to pay for legal services will expand.
That's a reasonable thesis. And so if that's true, if the money stays constant, will the legal tech pie grow? Or will the legal tech pie remain constant too?
Well, if the money stays constant, then there'll be winners and losers.
Yeah.
And
it's not going to support 4,000 people or 4,000 tech companies.
Well, already. So I don't know if you noticed this, but walking around the floor, there were a lot of biz dev and corp dev people from the larger companies, even the newer companies, kind of going, hey, tell me, what are you building?
Yeah.
And I kind of caught my ears on a few of those, and I was sitting at a coffee next to one of those, and it was very interesting to kind of hear the whispers of these conversations, because I think for the incumbent players, they have to spend money to catch up. They're now lagging, and they're lagging bad.
Yeah.
For the new players, they have to spend money to keep ahead of Claude and OpenAI, because now those are the competition.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to spend money, and I think whatever it 1,000, 4,000, a lot of them are going to be bought up.
Interesting. To what end, though? So I'm a startup that I was a lawyer that said, oh, this legal tech is going to be a thing. I'm going to be able to take all the processes I did as a lawyer and then be one of the 4,000. If I spin that up over a weekend and then roll it out to the world, what's to keep the company that would have acquired that from just spinning that up in the same weekend?
Well, okay, that assumes that the new company is building on top of GenAI, which I think is a very, very small moat.
For sure.
I don't think those companies will get bought up. I think they'll just evaporate.
Okay, so which are going to get bought out?
I think it's going to be the sorts of companies that have got a deeper understanding, more domain expertise, deeper moats, whatever they happen to be, right? Whether it's technology, whether it's expertise, whether it is relationships even.
Maybe, but even relationships. I mean, that's you and I know lots of people in legal tech and lots of people in the buyers, but relationships only go so far.
Right, you guys don't like me enough.
Everyone loves Horace Wu. That is an accurate statement.
Well, no. Okay, so segue. I learned a long time ago from watching some of my friends start a company. There's a difference between I like you versus I will pay for this.
For sure. Breaking out that wallet and saying, here's my hard-earned cash, that is very, very hard.
Yeah.
But I will encourage you till the cows come home, but I'm not going to give you my cash. That is a great idea.
Yes.
Do not take my money.
Please try that. Not that this happens to me, by the way.
Right.
Just, giving examples.
And really, when I did pricing, I would go out to the customer and say, how much would you pay for this thing? And the lawyers would say, oh, I'd spend at least $300 a month or at least $500 a month, right? But it doesn't bear out.
But nothing means anything until you have to actually pay money for it.
I wonder if there's a poly market for it. Like, I'll give you, like, put your money where your mouth is. I don't know if there's a model there, but it'd be fun if there were, right?
I don't know if it is, but I mean, look, there's some tech pros that have been very rich off that model. So
yeah, I guess that's right.
Who knows? But yeah, consolidation's coming.
It is coming. So you talked a little bit about services to be able to say that this is this is a white glove service that is kind of disguised in technology. I wonder, as I think about the humanity coming to the fore, the widgets that lawyers make, contracts, motions, briefs, pleadings, AI is just doing all the widgets. So really all that's left is the humanity going to the fore. So I wonder if there's an opportunity going forward for option one is for legal tech companies to give the tech, but then there's the people and process parts of that triangle that are not the tech. And I wonder if there's a consultancy play to be able to bring people into the new world. Maybe it's wrapped around some technology, or maybe it's just smart people and saying, hey, I'll be your Sherpa through the AI world.
I want to bring us back to the previous point, which is I love that idea, but I'm not sure who's paying for that idea.
Yeah. The solo small lawyer that doesn't know what to do about anything, they're going to pay, but how much? And then the biggest law firms in the world already have those Sherpas in the form of innovation people.
Right.
So then you have mid-market, which doesn't have innovation people.
But want to stay ahead.
They want to stay ahead, and they have more resources than the solo small. So maybe that mid-market, there's a good play for Sherpas for mid-market.
There's always that question of how do you distribute that? How do you make that service known to the buyers?
Yeah.
Right? Cold emails don't work.
No.
LinkedIn marketing doesn't work.
No.
Going to events, maybe that works, but then are your buyers at those events? So I think, maybe there is a demand for this, but how is the service provider going to reach people that need that service?
It's all about distribution.
It's all about distribution.
Sales marketing.
Hello, that's how we go back to Harvey and
Sorry, Legora. That's funny. Nobody knows marketing better than them.
Well, they're actually true. I love what they do. I mean, they're like, points to them, hats off to them for incredible marketing that they've done.
Speaking of marketing at LegalWeek, did you see the Rage Cage?
I did. Hello, Definely team.
That's so smart. Like really, but I don't know. I don't know what the symbolism is there. Like, are you so tired of your technology that you're going to take a sledgehammer to it? But here's some technology that you're going to love.
Right, go and smash that because you've always wanted to.
Right, exactly.
I don't know. I thought it was very clever as well. But the Definely team has been doing some really clever marketing. So I don't know if you've seen on LinkedIn, but their chief revenue officer, Reese, has been doing like a GoPro strapped to his front, like walking across Brooklyn Bridge or riding a helicopter and saying, hey, look at me just preparing this document while I'm riding a helicopter. because I'm on my way to my Hampton house, or I don't know the story. But I thought it was wonderful marketing.
Yeah, it's hard to break through noise. And so, yeah, smashing things or riding in helicopters is a decent way to.
And look at us, we're talking about it.
Right. It's true.
Free marketing.
Free marketing. Yeah. Sam Flynn, do you know Sam?
Yes. Good friends.
He and I were just walking and talking. Oh yeah, both Australians.
All the Australians know each other.
Just like all the Minnesotans and all the North Dakotans.
We go to school riding kangaroos.
The kangaroos. But so Sam, he's just been walking and talking. He just had a walk and talk with me. So I mean, that's you need to do things that are not done before. It's like I felt like I was on Comedians in Cars drinking coffee.
Yes.
A little bit, and and he's kind of got that the whole jazz vibe. Not to say, Sam, that you're copying the Seinfeld, but right, Jerry, have your lawyers call Sam for sure.
I don't think you can copyright an idea like that.
Well, you can't, and that was another thing. You can't copyright ideas, and the idea expression dichotomy says that ideas are uncopyrightable, only expressions of those ideas are copyrightable. So Rob Zacconi and I were walking after you and I hung out with him, and we were talking about how much of these workflows are ideas, or are they expressions of ideas? So there's a real question, like you can imagine if somebody works for legal tech company X, they walk out the door, start legal tech company Y, and then from afresh start new workflows that happen to be different expressions of the same idea. And on the back end, the output is identical, but the expressions of the workflows are different.
Right.
From a copyright perspective, these are different expressions, therefore not copyright. It's not a copy.
See, I'm thinking of a slightly different application of that problem, which is lawyers at law firms are now giving away their workflows into platforms. And these platforms, some of them may be on-selling these to other law firms and clients. Are they breaching copyright? Or are the contracts that these law firms signed sufficient to override the moral rights and the copyright that the author has in that work?
Can I put my copyright hat on?
Oh, please.
Okay, so one could imagine that I'm law firm X and I submit my beautifully crafted workflow to be able to say this is exactly the way that this thing should be done. You are law firm Y, and the platform gives it to you, and now you use the same copy, the same expression of that beautifully crafted thing. That seems pretty clear that it would be like if you make a copy of the thing, that is a copy of the expression, therefore copyright infringement. Okay, so that is.
But if you just use it without making a copy, or is that even possible?
Well, I mean, if is your instantiation of the thing and my instantiation of the thing in AWS, is that 2 copies or 12,000 copies, right? Like, what is a copy?
It's the same zeros and ones.
It's the same zeros and ones, right? So anyway, so let's say it's the exact same expression of the workflow, same copy, maybe an argument that there is a copyright infringement. But scenario 2 is you have this workflow that is beautiful, and you have a prompt that says, extract all the uncopyrightable ideas from this. What are the concepts that are required to be able to elicit this workflow?
Okay.
And then take those ideas, you abstract the ideas, and then say, now create a new workflow, a new expression of those uncopyrightable ideas. So extract the uncopyrightable ideas.
And nothing that AI produces is copyrightable, by the way.
Uncopyrightable turtles all the way down. Extract the uncopyrightable idea, reconstitute and rehydrate the workflow, but in a different expression of that. Is that copyright infringement? No. Uncopyrightable idea got pulled out of it.
So you're saying so long as the GenAI players take whatever the prompt is and the process is from the lawyer and say, dear AI, interpret and rewrite that, the rewritten version of that workflow can never violate copyright.
It seems like it would be public domain. If you listen to the U.S. Copyright Office...
Public domain?
Well, the U.S. Copyright Office says if machine generated, then no copyright. If machine generated, then no copyright.
And no copyright means public domain, or no copyright simply means not protected?
It's synonymous.
Interesting.
Like if there's no copyright, then it's in the public domain.
So that I can go to these platforms, not that I would, but if I wanted to, I can go to these platforms and go copy paste this prompt, thank you. And the platforms can do nothing about it if it was written by AI.
Let me twist the scenario. Go to this platform and look what it's doing, and then take the ideas from that and do it again. So copying and pasting the expression, that would be bad. But taking the ideas, you can't infringe ideas.
This is an area fraught with risks and danger.
Now let's go to a new scenario. Hey, Claude Code, look at the user interface and competitive interface.
Yeah.
Now take this interface and replicate it afresh.
Yep.
Take the ideas from this interface.
Vibe it out for me in React.
Right, take the ideas. Don't take any of the copyrightable expressions.
Yep.
Just take the ideas and then reconstitute it over here.
Yep.
Where's the moat of anything?
What are we doing here?
Let's go live out the rest of our days in some farm somewhere.
I jokingly, not jokingly, shared a link to a property in Kiama. Kiama is a little town in Australia, about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Sydney. And this property is kind of like on the left-hand side of a highway with a backyard farm, overlooks the ocean. Look, it's a cool 4 million Australian, Damien.
Okay. But money's not going to matter.
Money's not going to matter. And I'm thinking, hey, that's not a bad place to live out the rest of my days until the robots take over.
And I've heard that if there's a nuclear war, then New Zealand and Australia are one of the safest.
We're too far to be hit.
Yeah. So as the nuclear fallout happened,
you can come and stay in my backyard farm.
That'd be great. We could hang out with the kangaroos and the wallabies.
we'll jump into pouches and go shopping.
I mean, there really is. What are our children going to be doing? What are we going to be doing?
Well, it's a story from my friend in Australia, right? Like if the 90% drop is true, and depending on how long that goes for and which industries it affects.
Yeah. How many pitchforks are going to come out, and how much more populism is going to be there? I mean, I think we're in for some bumpy rides before we reach the utopia that you and I hope in the 1 in 10 million. What was the number?
Are you a student in history?
Of course.
I'm not as much.
Okay.
But
I'm not a good student in it.
Okay, maybe I'm the same boat. But I'm trying to think, like the French Revolution, how many years did that go on before they kind of cross over to prosperity?
I don't know the answer to that.
And neither do I. We should look that up afterwards.
I'd like to think it's rapid, because like lots of heads got chopped.
They were, yeah.
And then that was that, right?
Yeah.
So how many heads need to get chopped?
Well, that's a grim way of ending the podcast in New York City.
Well, let's start with some optimism. I think that there's never been a better time to build.
Oh, whoa. Okay. There's never been a better time to build. There's never been a harder time to be noticed.
That's exactly right. If you build something in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it really make a sound?
At all.
Right, but I think that if we're going to send some people off, download Claude Code, build today, speak and will things into existence, and I think that you and your organization will be doing better.
Yeah, I mean, it's no longer about, I think I wrote this last week, it's no longer an exercise of debugging, it's an exercise of managing, directing, and Claude will figure it out.
That's right.
You waste a lot of tokens.
Or unless you use Opus 4.6 at high thinking, and then it uses more efficient tokens and it's more intelligent.
We don't pay for that anyway. It's all part of our subscription.
Right, exactly.
For now, it's all subsidized.
Right, that's true. Like I think I told you, like I was using API before I got the $200 a month subscription. I was doing API, and I burned up $300 worth of API and the first weekend.
Right.
I thought maybe I should pay $200 a month rather than $300 a weekend.
Yes, that makes a lot more sense.
It was a much very good choice. But I think that we're really going to be. You can build at the speed of thought.
Yes.
And you think fast, and your team thinks fast, you think fast. Like, how much more software is going to be built really quickly? Man.
Yep. Single use, extremely fit for purpose. And I think it's a good time. My optimism, having kind of walked around the floor in LegalWeek, is I think there's now a lot more roundedness in how software is made, in how software is pitched, in how people do buying decisions. That wasn't the case last year. I think there were a lot more starry-eyed admiration of the magic. I think this year is a lot more grounded on what really gets adopted. I was having this conversation with an innovation person at a law firm, and he told me that he heard a story, again, hearsay, right? He heard a story where someone bought a purpose-built real estate piece of GenAI kit. It's called Orbital.
Okay.
So real estate specific GenAI platform, Orbital. They adopted it just for the real estate team. Once they rolled this out, what they found was the usage of that tool was way up, right? A very well considered purchase decision yielded an incredible outcome for the real estate team. A byproduct, a consequence of this that they didn't expect, was the usage by the real estate team of Harvey dropped to nearly zero.
Displacement.
Narrow versus broad.
Yeah.
And I think people are now looking, people are now being more considered. And I think that's going to lead to better outcomes for everybody as long as the product solves something and the beneficiaries feel it.
I know that we are trying to close out. Let me but what you've just said reminded me of, so I think that the niche rifle shot that you just described, of course this is the way, the software for one. I'm also thinking about, because I vibe coded this thing in a weekend, I open sourced it.
Yep.
Right? And so because I open sourced it, you can download the thing that I did and you can say, I like it, but I think you should tweak it this way. And then you can make a fork of it and be able to do it that way. And then somebody in your organization said, that's fine for your department, but my department does it this way, and they make a fork for yours. And you can fork, no, I just do it this way for me, and I can make a fork of it that way. So I wonder if, yes, you have a rifle shot to compete with the Harveys to be able to do just your thing. And I wonder if the sunk cost or lack of sunk cost is so damn cheap to build the thing, I just open source it. Then that means that we can just infinitely fork and be able to make software for one, but I don't even have to build that software for one because somebody open sourced it. I just need to modify somewhere along the chain.
You've just given every CIO a massive heart attack.
But it's accurate, right? Open source eats the world, right? I mean, Linux runs so many things because it's cheap and forkable and you can do whatever you want with it. So as code gets cheap, open source it, fork it, but then where does SaaS go?
Yeah.
And where does software go?
I think there's still a place for well-crafted software that does something that is promised, that does it at a high enough quality. But yeah, it's a great question. The future is infinite.
It is infinite. I was trying to be optimistic, saying you could fork things, but I was worried that I was pessimistic. That maybe that might be sad.
It depends on what happens. It depends on what happens, and we don't know what's going to happen. What we do know is there are some really good people in the industry who are building towards the best possible outcome, and if we all pull in that direction, I think we can get there.
I'm glad that I'm sitting across the table with one of those people.
Same.
Cheers.
Cheers, Amy. And thank you, listeners, for sticking with us for 2 seasons.
It's been great fun. I think this is the next season might be the best yet.
Oh, every season's the best.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.